Spare the rod and spoil the child. Show those kids right off that you're the teacher and you won't have a bit of trouble. I will. If you have to smack a couple of them, do it. Somebody went over to Mr. Strong's stable and started to close the doors. I caught a glimpse of a big sled that was in there. It was the size of a hay wagon, and I wondered how many horses it took to pull it. In a couple of months from now, after the first heavy snowfall, Mr. Strong would be bringing my trunk out on it. The door slammed shut, and the odor of hay and manure drifted over. And then Mr. Strong was beside us, clearing his throat. Even though it was sunny and comfortable, he was wearing a mackinaw. It was open, and I could see the top button of his long underwear under his flannel shirt. He was a tall, stoop-shouldered man, and he had such a courtly way about him that if he wore a beard, he'd have made me think of Don Quixote. When I'd first met him yesterday, his manners had seemed so out of place in this rough country that I thought he was joking and almost laughed. I was glad I didn't, though, because he acted that way with almost everyone. I'd been waiting over 2 days for his pack train to come in, but when I'd asked him if he could take me to Chicken, all he'd said was, "Yes, madam, I can." "Will you be going soon?" I'd ask him. "Yes, madam. My pack train leaves for Chicken on the 4th, the 14th, and the 24th of each month. I shall therefore be leaving tomorrow, 8 a.m. sharp." "I'd like to go," I told him. "The rent for your horse will be $10 per day. That will include your meals along the way and your lodgings. The journey will take 4 days. I hope that will be satisfactory." I told him it would be fine, and that was that. "If you are ready, madam," he said to me now, "I shall assist you to mount." Mrs. Rooney smiled up at him. "You will take good care of her, won't you, Mr. Strong?" "I shall do my best." Compared to him, President Coolidge was a non-stop talker. Mrs. Rooney looked at him coquettishly and brushed at the front of her dress. It had a lot of shiny spots where her corset poked against it. She'd been a widow for 10 years, she told me, and I had a feeling she would have liked to marry him, but he wasn't interested. He took the reins from me and dropped them over Blossom's head. Then he bent forward with his hands locked together. I grabbed the saddle horn and he boosted me up. Once I was in the saddle, the ground looked pretty far down. Blossom started to dance around, and a few people laughed. I thought they were laughing at the trouble I was having trying to get him to stand still, but as soon as he settled down, I saw they were laughing at my legs. The saddle was so big and wide that they stuck out like wings. "Better do something about them pins of her, Walter," somebody called out, "or she'll be knocking down every tree in the 40 Mile. Mr. Strong shortened the stirrups until I could get my feet into them, but I was still spread out pretty wide. Some good-natured suggestions were offered by people close by, such as tying rocks to my feet, but Mr. Strong didn't see anything funny about them. "When we stop over at Camp in Liberty tonight," he said to me, "I will have a smaller saddle for you." He looked at my clothes skeptically. "Are you sure, madam, you will not reconsider my offer of the coat?" A little earlier, when he saw how I was dressed, he had offered to lend me a coat, saying that the weather was very changeable, but I told him I didn't think I'd need it. "I'm really very comfortable," I said now. "I mean, it's such a lovely day." If I were back in the States, I'd have felt ridiculous, but here in Alaska, nobody cared how you dressed. I was wearing the jacket of my pink Easter suit, a pair of boys' corduroy knickers I'd bought for the ride, cotton stockings, and some old sport brogues. I knew that the flowered hat I'd bought in Portland the past summer would end up crushed if it was put on the pack animals with my other things, so I wore that too. My ensemble was completed by a nickel-plated revolver that a fellow had given me at the dance last night. Mr. Strong was still skeptical. "Should you change your mind, let me know." "Now, Walter," an old-timer called out, "why you want to go and hide all that nice young beauty under that old army coat?" Mr. Strong started for the front of the pack train, and I looked around, able to see the whole crowd for the first time. A few old men were sitting on the rail of the schoolhouse porch, giving encouragement to a couple of little boys on a small dog sled. The sled was outfitted with some old baby carriage wheels, and the boys were trying to teach the Malamute puppy that was pulling how to gee and haw. Aside from Mr. Strong's stable and the stables of a couple of other freighters, the schoolhouse was the only other building here at the edge of town. Mrs. Rooney had showed me the inside of it, and I was looking forward to teaching in it when I took over from her next year. Made of squared-off logs, it was good and sturdy.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.